Hey friends, welcome to Creatively Aligned. I'm Whitney, and this is a podcast for anyone trying to live a spiritually aligned life while also doing wildly human things like forgetting to change your laundry or questioning every sign that the universe sends. Here, creativity isn't just art. It's how we heal. It's how we grow. It's how we stay grounded and we remember who the heck we are underneath all the noise and the labels. I'll share my experience as an artist, a mom, a Reiki practitioner, and a professional multitasker, along with the stories from others who have used creativity to realign with their higher self, sometimes in surprisingly hilarious ways. So, if you are ready to laugh, get inspired, and reconnect with the creatively aligned version of you, congratulations, you're in the right place. Hey friends, before we get into today's episode, I want you to just pause for a second and really think about this question. When was the last time that you let yourself experience joy without needing it to be productive? Not strategic, not monetized, not useful, just pure joy for the sake of joy. So recently I heard Spirituality with Sam say something that I needed reminding of right in that moment. It was something that I already knew, but I'm in a season of like transition and letting go of old things and old ways and going into new things and new ways. And when it comes to your business and the way that you've always operated, that can be really difficult and scary. I've done like something for 18 years as a business, and it kind of has been like my identity to a large degree. And it is something that I enjoy, but after you've done it for 18 years and the market changes, you kind of find yourself like struggling to find the joy in that thing. And so it's time for it to change. And sitting in this like place, when I heard Sam say this today, it totally reminded me about how and it helped me shift immediately right in the moment about like my alignment and my intuition. And it was all the conversation that she was talking about was all about following your joy and following the small joys. And I know for me in this like season that I'm in, and probably so many others, we get so focused on the giant life-changing moments and not necessarily like focusing on the small joys. But all those tiny things, like those things are what actually make our soul feel alive. The things that are like drawing a picture or ordering your favorite food or just sitting in a garden or going to a thrift store or making a t-shirt or baking a cake or listening to music or just walking barefoot outside. I mean, the list goes on and it can be totally different for all of us. But the tiny, small little joys, those are the things that like we oftentimes forget to focus on. And what we end up focusing on are the big questions like, what is my purpose? What brings me joy that I can make money off of? Now, the little things are like the most important things, but they aren't always the direct answer to our problems, our questions, or our desires. But here's the big thing. All of those little things that we find joy in, those are the things that are actually the big things, because what happens when we do those is that it essentially tunes our frequency to match the energetic level that gives us the answer to all of our problems, questions, and desires that we actually think are the big things. And I think so many people just underestimate how valuable those small things really are, those small things that give us joy. We live in a world that constantly is asking us, how is this productive? How does this get me where I want to go? What's the outcome? Can I make this successful? But what if joy itself is just part of the pathway? What if all of those small moments aren't distractions from our alignment or unproductive, but actually the thing that helps us reconnect to it, to tune into it? I have noticed this in my own life. When I am anxious, overwhelmed, overthinking, stressed, emotionally heavy, constantly trying to figure life out, and how do I change my business? What do I let go of? What do I keep? Like all of those big life questions, I lose connection to myself. I cannot hear my intuition clearly. I am so overwhelmed. I feel like I'm in a fog. There is no clarity. Everything just feels noisy and confusing. And I think many of us just try to force answers while we're in this state and in this frequency. But this frequency, that when we're in this frequency, that is like a low frequency that is disconnecting us from our actual soul alignment. Because like this is one of the best ways that I can always like understand this, and that I think of it as like the radio analogy. Your soul, your intuition, and your inner knowing, it already has a signal. It is already a radio station. But if your energy is tuned into like a station of fear, pressure, survival, exhaustion, overanalysis, scarcity, confusion, all of those things, it's like trying to hear one radio station, but being on a completely different channel. The signal completely exists out there. You're just not tuned into it. You're just not on the right channel. And I think this is why joy matters so much. Not because joy magically solves everything, not because joy is the answer to our problems, but because joy raises our energetic state into a resonance that is our soul, that is connected directly to ourself. Our soul resonance is of a high vibration. Our soul resonance is not a low frequency. So joy is what reconnects you. It can soften that survival mode, and it opens our nervous system to just relax and creates like a spaciousness without pressure so that we can receive and see. And then suddenly, like all of a sudden, we can hear again, or we have like an aha moment, or, we could be painting and then we have like clarity that just comes through. We just have a knowing. And it's not always like something that comes through words. It's like just something that can come straight through a feeling. Like a lot of times our clarity comes through just a knowing, just like a random idea, like synchronicities that happen in our intuition. And a lot of times people misunderstand something about alignment. Alignment isn't always found through a forcing. In fact, most of the time, it is only found through reconnecting to our aliveness. This is why children just understand this so naturally. They're not out there forcing anything. They're just alive. They're just living. Kids don't ask, how will coloring this picture advance my 5-year plan? Am I going to make X amount of dollars if I take time to sit here and color this coloring book picture? They just follow what lights them up. They just put the colors on the page. And somewhere along the way, we as adults have disconnected from that. And we stop following the joy unless it has some measurable outcome. We'll guilt ourselves for just resting. We call creativity being unproductive, or that's, this starving artist. We have so many ideas around creativity that are just like not accurate. We have somehow along the way just completely abandoned the wonder of life as adults. And then we wonder why we are so disconnected from ourselves and so lost and so confused and so depressed and so uninspired. But the thing is that our soul is speaking through expansion and wonder. Our soul does not speak to us through a when we're like a place of constant contraction. And I think there's something important about understanding that the little joys that you follow every day, that you incorporate every day, it changes your energetic relationship with life. So when you're allowing yourself moments of beauty and creativity and curiosity and play and pleasure and inspiration, you are shifting out of a low frequency. And oftentimes a low frequency is something like survival, which is very loud and heavy. It's very fear-based. It's very controlling and hyper vigilant. And when we do little things of joy, it takes us out of that and it shifts us into a higher frequency, which is actually where our soul and our intuition live. Our intuition is oftentimes quiet. It's subtle. It's gentle. It's steady. It's just a knowing. If the nervous system is constantly screaming, it is hard to hear any type of whisper. That's why following your joy actually matters. Not because joy itself is always the destination or the answer. It's because it recalibrates you back to your own signal. It turns us from one radio station back to the clear radio station channel where we can hear. I kind of want to pause here for a second and just ask you something honestly. What are the tiny things that make you feel more like yourself? Not the things that make you feel productive, but more like you. Maybe it's painting. Maybe it's baking. Maybe it's fishing. Maybe it's just rolling the windows down while you're driving. Maybe it's having your hands in the dirt in the garden or listening to music. Maybe it's molding something with your hands. Maybe the reason that you keep feeling so pulled towards these things isn't because that they're pointless, but because they are portals that are allowing you and guiding you back to yourself. Sometimes we're looking for these giant spiritual breakthroughs and these big answers to these things that the world has told us that are so important that we need. And we ignore all of the small joys that are trying to guide us back into alignment every single day that actually bring us all of those answers that we think that we're looking for. And this doesn't mean that we avoid our real life responsibilities. It means that we just stop starving our soul of the little joys while trying to build our life. Because a disconnected soul cannot clearly hear any aligned direction. And maybe that's why some of your clearest ideas come when you're in the shower. That seems to be my go-to spot is the shower. Or maybe it's a walk for you and exercising. Or maybe it's creating. Or maybe it's just resting and watching a movie. Because your energy softens in those time periods enough where you can finally receive and hear the whisper, which is your intuition. I think this is so important for all of us who feel stuck or in transition periods. Sometimes the answer is not to think harder. Sometimes the answer really is just reconnecting with the little things that make you feel alive. Because aliveness is information. Joy is 100% information. Expansion is information. Your soul communicates through a resonance that is a higher frequency than anything that is fear-based. And so maybe the next aligned step in your life will not come to you from a place of force and figure it out, or a place where you're thinking more with your mind. Maybe it is going to come to you from a place of energetic frequency. If you would allow yourself to just tune back into the version of you that already knows the information, switch to that higher, clear radio station that already has all the informations that you need, that you think you're looking for, this week, instead of obsessing over finding the answers or thinking with your mind of how to figure it out, what if you simply just look for small moments of joy? What if you just go with your urge and your creative urge of getting the chocolate bar, or walking outside for 30 minutes on your lunch break, or picking up a pen and just doodling? Because these moments are what reconnect us to the frequency where our soul can be heard again. So wherever you are right now, if you are lost, or if you're in transition, confusion, or even, all of us can just really benefit from the reminder of following your joy. Because joy is that tuning fork that is raising our energetic frequency and making us a match for our true soul alignment. If you are lost and you are looking to realign with your soul or to get answers, I highly recommend just making it a point to follow the joy. And when you follow the joy, your creativity will rise. And as your creativity rises, your soul will become in alignment again. So until next time, remember, you are highly creative every single day. Okay, friends, thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope something in this episode sparked a little bit of creativity, clarity, or maybe an oh wow, same kind of moment for you. If you loved this conversation, go ahead and follow the show so you don't miss future episodes. Because let's be real, life gets busy and our higher selves appreciate reminders. And if you feel called, share this with a friend who's also on there trying to be spiritually aligned while still being a whole human journey. We're all figuring this out together. So until next time, stay grounded, stay creative, and stay a little bit magical. See you in the next episode.